These are all the ingredients you need to make the Roxy. This is my fabric glue, Fabri-Tac. It's called Fabri-Fix here, but it's from Beacon. Be sure you have the right kind. This is the closure, the metal. It's 7.5 inch, 19 centimeters. It's not important how it looks, if it's square or round, they all work the same. You have them with heart shapes, no problem. This is a small zipper. I use zipper by the tape, zipper tape, by the length, by the yard. Make sure it has a zipper pull. This is my outer fabric, it's cork. My main lining. I have 4 card pockets, 4 slip pockets, the center card pocket, the accordion pleats, the fabric for the coin pocket, the zipper tabs, the fusible interfacing like craft fuse, and some Peltex. This is stiffy, it's exactly the same. I did already some work. These are the card pockets. What do you need to do with them? Fold them in half and press well. You do exactly the same for the slip pockets. Fold them in half and press well. For the central card pocket, you fold it in half so we have a crease. Then you open it up again, and the short ends you fold to the middle, and then you press the pleats there. The next step is to fuse the stabilizer strips. We need to fuse them right at the crease, not on the crease. For the center card pockets, you fuse them in the middle part. Place them right at the crease, fold your fabric, then you are pretty sure the stabilizer strips are not on the crease. Do the same for the other side. Fold the fabric back. And press. I'm going to press all at the end of this explanation. These are the slip pockets. Place a stabilizer strip right at the crease, not on the crease. Fold your fabric back, then you're sure it's at the crease. Do the same for all. All stabilizer strips have now been fused. Right at the crease for all 8, and for the center card pocket they are at the middle. For the accordion pleats we need to fuse woven stabilizer at the external parts, at the outer parts, and for the coin pocket we need to also fuse woven stabilizer at the outer parts. And that's all the fusing done. Now it's time to top stitch all those pockets. The top stitching will be done at a 1/8 inch seam allowance. I use a magnetic seam guide to make sure all my seams are at the same, or all my stitching is at the same thing. I also stitch in a row, then It's easier for starting and stopping. You have to try to be as accurate as possible for this stitching, because this stitching will be very visible. I use just one color for all my pockets. I chose this color because it's going very well with all three colors, but do whatever you please. It's your wallet after all. After all the stitching of the top stitching, it's very important to press. Press with a steam iron. If you don't have a steam iron, just spritz some water on it. It will make the result a lot more professional. Now everything is top stitched, we're going to draw guidelines. Draw a guideline on all the card pockets and all the slip pockets. It will be a line that is 3/8 inch from the fold. I do this with a friction pen. The benefit of a friction pen is that you can remove the line with your iron. On all 4 card pockets we draw a second line. It's a line that is at 1 inch and 3/4. Do this for all 4 card pockets. On the center card pocket we also draw a line at 1 3/4 inch. Do this on both sides. These are lines we are going to stitch on. The lines on the card pockets we will never see. Let's now construct the card pockets. Take one slip pocket and place on top of it a card pocket. The top of the card pocket will be at the line we drew on the slip pocket. Make sure it's very straight. The distance is exactly 3/8 of an inch. Clip together and sew on the line we drew at the bottom of the card pocket. I always use a starter piece. That's easier for me, and you have a more beautiful start and finish. On top of this we place a second card pocket. Again, the top of the second card pocket is at the line from the previous card pocket. So the distance between the top of card pocket 1 and card pocket 2 is again 3/8 of an inch. Clip together and sew again on the bottom line. That's done for now. Take a second slip pocket and repeat the same with 2 card pockets. Place, check, clip, sew. Place the second card pocket. We're just repeating what we did in step 1. What is different though is that we are now going to place another slip pocket. We place it under the previous slip pocket. But the distance is again 3/8 of an inch. We are going to use this one to place your cards in lengthwise. We're going to sew this piece from the back on, and we are going to sew it right at the bottom of this piece. We need the complete height of this slip pocket. This is done. We now have one with 2 slip pockets and 2 card pockets, and one with only 1 slip pocket and 2 card pockets. Take your centerpiece and place it on the top line of the second card pocket. Clip, and we're going to sew on the line we drew. For convenience, I'm going to add already the second card pockets, place and clip, and then we can sew both lines at once. When you fold open these card pockets, you will see the sewing line, but don't be afraid, you will never see them again once your wallet is completely finished. This construction is now 8 inches wide. Measure it again, because we need to measure exactly half of it. It will be 4 inches, 10 centimeters. Make a beautiful top stitch, because this will divide your card pockets in half. Now it's time to place the last slip pocket. We only place it now because we did not want to divide the slip pocket. We need the complete width of it. Stitch on top of the line we sew already on the central card pocket. Now all the card pockets are stitched, we're going to place them on top of our lining. We need to find the center of the lining. It's on this crease we are going to place the center of the center card. Since it's almost not possible to align all the card pockets, we started with something that is a little bit too wide. The main lining is 7.5 inch. Our card pockets were 8 inch to start with, so we now need to trim them. Because the center top stitch line need to be in the center of the main lining, it's very important that we also make a crease in the main lining where that center part is. So now we have two creases, one for the top stitching and one for the fold in the center pocket. Place it there on top and then trim your card pockets. This way we know exactly that we are cutting it right. Using a ruler and your rolling knife is so much easier than with the scissors. Clip and turn your construction. We're now going to place the pieces of Peltex. Yes, they need to be two pieces. You can spray glue, you can just use a little glue like I do. If you have Peltex that's fusible, you can fuse absolutely exactly the same. This can be a way to use your Peltex 70 if you happen to have a bolt. Again, I use Stiffy. Align it on the top and on the sides and clip again. Repeat for the other side. Now stitch on the lines we sewn before. We do this to make sure our Peltex is extra secured. Do this on both sides and in the middle. That way the bottom of the Peltex is also secured. That makes 4 lines. This is the front. And this is how the back looks. Time for the coin pocket. We have 2 pieces that are interfaced, 2 that are not interfaced. Those are the lining. We have the 4 zipper tabs and our zipper. If your zipper is not closed at both ends, zigzag stitch them or hand stitch them. It will be a lot easier later. Take 2 zipper tabs, right side up, and place some glue at the short end. 1 short end per zipper tab. Place your zipper right at the edge of the zipper tab, so the glue is at the edge of your zipper. Repeat for the other side. Stitch the zipper tabs to your zipper with a seam allowance of 1/4 inch. Fold your zipper tabs open, away from the zipper. So your zipper is now sandwiched between the two zipper tabs. The total width of your zipper should be 7.5 inches. Make sure your zipper is nicely centered in between those 7.5 inches. We need an equal amount of space on both zipper tabs. Take a lining piece with the right side up and add some glue on the top. Place your zipper right side up with the pull facing you and align the raw edge of the zipper with the raw edge of the fabric. Your fabric is as wide as your zipper. Make sure your zipper opens from left to right. Add some glue at the top of the zipper because we're going to sandwich the zipper between the lining and an outer piece. The outer piece will be right side down. Make sure both edges of the fabric are nicely aligned. Stitch with a zipper foot. When you arrive at your zipper pull, stop with your presser foot down and your needle down and move your zipper pull. Fold the fabric away from the zipper and finger press. Do the same for the lining. So now the lining and the outer fabric are wrong side together and your zipper is sticking out. Align your outer fabric and your lining nicely. Repeat for the other two pieces of fabric. Add some glue to the lining. Place your zipper. Align the raw edge of the zipper with the raw edge of the fabric. Add some glue on top of the zipper. And place the outer piece right side down. Be extra careful for the place where the pull is. If need to, just move the pull a little. Again with your zipper foot, stitch down, seam allowance 1/4 inch. The 1/4 is when you're using a zipper that is number 3. If your zipper tape is wider, just use a seam allowance that's a little bit wider. Fold these two fabrics open again, finger press, and make sure both sides are nicely aligned. So the outer fabric and the lining fabric is exactly the same. We now need to top stitch around the zipper. Top stitching is always with 1/8 of an inch. But really it does not matter a lot as long as you are consistent. Take both outer pieces, the ones that are interfaced, and place them on top of each other. Clip or pin. Make sure the raw edges are nicely aligned. For the place where your zipper is, you need to fold the zipper down, fold the zipper in half, and the zipper teeth will face towards the lining. Do the same for the lining. Here again you can see what I'm doing. Fold the zipper into and let it facing towards the lining. We're going to turn this pocket through a hole in the lining. A hole of 3 inches is enough because we are only having 2 pieces. I forgot something. I left my zipper closed, and it's not good because with a closed zipper we cannot turn the pocket. So check this. Is your zipper open? Then you're okay. If not, just open it. Now is still time. Where I place a line here, this is the place we are going to leave open, so don't stitch there. Where you start and stop is not that important. I always start at the place where my zipper is. Then I'm sure that that point is already okay. Stitch with a seam allowance of 1/4 inch. If you want to, I don't do it. You can use seam allowance of 3/8 of an inch for the lining, but in this case it's really not necessary. Leave the hole open. Take extra care for the corner. And trim your seam allowance so it is 1/8 of an inch. Only do this for the place where you've stitched. This is the open side where we are going to turn. We are going to leave that one open. If you fold this now already and finger press, it will be a lot more easy later to have a nice closed bottom. We are just going to tell the fabric what we wanted to do. Turn your pocket completely through this hole. Take extra care for the corners. I use a chopstick, a simple chopstick, because we need something that is pointy but still blunt. We don't want to poke through the fabric. Do it gently. Do the same for the corners in the lining. The more time you spend now doing this, the better your result will be. You do not need to close this hole because it will be closed in the next step. But make sure your fold is very crisp. Now it's time to fold the lining inside the pocket. Make sure the corners from the lining are in the corners from the outside. The bottom of the lining needs to be close to the bottom of the outside. We're going to top stitch the outside, and in that way we want to close the lining together. So we are going to top stitch through the 4 layers of the pocket. And with 1 stitch the pocket is closed. The accordion pleats, we are going to make 2. 2 of the pieces are interfaced, 2 are not. Place the non-interfaced right sides together on top of the interfaced pieces, and then sew around all the curved edges, not the long straight edge. That's where we are going to turn. Use your usual seam allowance. And trim your seam allowance so it is 1/8. Repeat for the 2 and turn your pleats inside out. Use your chopstick again to make sure the corners are nice. We need to fold exactly on the seam. We are going to see these seams, So take extra care now, so they are nice. Repeat for the other and press very well and good. Use steam iron. Produce steam with a water spritzer if you do not have it. And if you do have a clapper, now is the time to use. And repeat for your second pleat. Take your pocket construction. We do not need our pocket at this point, but we do need our two pleats. So align the raw edge of your pleat with the raw long edge of your pockets. It will be more or less in between the second row of slip pockets. It's less important where it will be, it is important that it is centered. Repeat for the second side. And stitch the pleats to the pocket construction. I use a zigzag stitch. It's less important if you use zigzag or not. It's important that you stay inside the seam allowance. The seam allowance is 1/4 of an inch, so you need to stay inside this 1/4 of an inch. Take your outside piece and draw a line at 1/4 of an inch. This will be our seam allowance. By drawing it now, we are extra sure that we are going to stitch on the line we want. It's so much easier to follow a line. It's a little bit extra work, but it will do the trick for you. It did the trick for me. Take your pocket construction and place your outside fabric on top of it. Align the raw edge of the pocket construction with the raw edge of the outer fabric. Your outer fabric is larger, is wider than your pocket construction. That's normal. So your outer fabric will be bold, will be curved. But align both sides of the fabric. This is thick, we know, but a normal domestic machine should be able to do this. We now stitch on the line we drew. That is 1/4 of an inch, but it's more important that you stitch on that line. It's a lot of layers, but it will go. Now we need to trim 1/8 of an inch of the pocket construction, not of the outer fabric, only of the pocket construction. With a roll knife, this will go very smoothly. With scissors, it will be a lot less easy. And do the same for the other side. Now we are going to turn the wallet inside out. Gently and smooth. Yes, this looks rumpled now. But your outer fabric should be very tightly around your pocket construction. It should not be too loose nor too tight. Iron it so most wrinkles are gone. Fold in half, see if everything checks. This looks right. Since the outer will be around the pocket construction and the pocket construction has a certain thickness, we need to make very sure everything is okay. We are now going to add 2 extra strips of Peltex in between the main lining and the outer. If we don't do this and we add the closure, we will see that this piece is not thick enough. By adding 2 extra strips of Peltex, we are going to thicken the edges of the wallet and it will be a lot nicer. The length of the piece we need is the length of the main lining. Add some glue. And place them right side on the edge. Add 2 strips on top of each other. That way we have 1 layer of fabric, 1 layer of Peltex, 2 strips of Peltex and the outer fabric, and that will be thick enough. Repeat for the other side. Fold your accordion pleats in half. The tip of your accordion pleat should be very closely, barely to the side of your outer fabric. Almost touching, just barely not. Make sure that this pleat will be very crisp. Steam press, use your clapper. We're now going to place the pocket. My trick is to use some glue. Add a little bit of glue on the edge. Not much, just a little bit. We are going to stitch here, but this way, by adding some glue, the pocket will not shift when we are stitching. Place the top of your pocket at the top of your pleat. The bottom of your pocket will now at the right center of this pleat. Fold the wallet and the pleats up, so the bottom of your pleat is now reaching the top of your pleat. So the pocket is completely sandwiched in between the pleat. Use some clips to let the glue dry. The benefit of Fabri-Tac is that it dries in less than 10 seconds. This is one side done. And repeat for the other side. Add a little bit of glue to the sides. Sandwich the pocket. Let the glue set. With Fabri-Tac it will be 10 seconds. And stitch. Once stitched, move your pocket back inside the wallet. The pocket is as wide as your inner lining, your main lining. So the corners of the bottom of the pocket should be right outside and the pleats should be as much inside as possible. So your wallet is done. The only thing we need to do now is place the closures. One side has the knot and that will be the back side of the wallet. Since I am right-handed and I want to open my pocket from left to right, that side will be my back of my wallet. Test if it works. In the 4 holes, with an awl, make 4 holes. It will make the screws go in nicer. To be extra secure, I use some glue. This is Gutermann HT2, but you can use whatever you want. Just a glue that will glue metal and fabric together. This is a glue that takes some time to dry. Fabri-Tac uses only 10 seconds. This one will be at least 3 minutes. Place the edge of the wallet inside the closure. Once you're sure you cannot push it even further, it's okay. For those little screws, you need a screwdriver PH000. PH000. You can find it in electronics department. You can find it also on my blog where to buy it. To make this screw magnetic, just add a little magnet. Whatever magnet you have, place it on the edge, and then it will be easy to take up your screws. Place a screw, point it inside the hole, and screw. That's one side done. Now the other side, the side with the hole. Place your wallet inside. And mark where the hole should be. We draw a line inside the hole. That means that everything that we have drawn, that our marking should not be visible. You see there is only a slight piece of metal there. So we need to make sure we are not cutting too much out of it. These are die stamps that I use, cutting dies. I bought them on eBay, and this is the little piece that you will need. It has one sharp edge, and you just hammer it inside the fabric. It's like a cookie cutter, but now for fabric. This whole box has cost me $10. They have boxes of $4. They just contain less cutting dies, but they will contain the die you need. I did not hammer it under the camera because my table was not sturdy enough, but it's as simple as just place your cutting die on top of the lines you made, the cutting die a little bit over the lines on the left and the right, not on the bottom, and hammer. Use some glue as well here. This is the Gutermann glue. This one takes 3 minutes to dry. And place your fabric inside. Make some holes with your awl. This way your screws go through the fabric and are not just pushing to the fabric. Screw the 4 screws. And done. Your wallet is done. Do you want to make a clutch from this wallet? Then you will need the end pieces, the side pieces, the accordion pieces. You can find on my blog where you need to buy them. This is for me the holy grail. I can make flat everything that's not flat enough. Add the end pieces and screw. Repeat on the other side. Yes, we are moving this pocket a lot. Inside, outside, out, in. That's the benefit of it. At the end, it will just sit. And our clutch is ready. The only thing we do need to do now is add a chain. That's up to you.